Hello, my name is Second, and we are playing TNP Limitless 7. And, the pack got updated before I recorded the last episode, and one of several new mods we have, and I say new, is Botania. I like me some Botania. Now, the way you generally begin, and this is probably how you will begin if you're in New Worlds, is you'll find these flowers around various places. You'll harvest them and you'll start working with them. Now, for us to do that, we'd have to take like a serious hike. And I want to get into it right now. So, what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves some floral fertilizer. I guess we don't have a recipe for bone meal. And we're going to need one. Because we're going to need bone meal for all kinds of things. What do we got? We got a sag mill lying around, right? So it's definitely 6, right? So we'll get rid of this. And if we get extra, we get extra. Where's our sag mill? Here it is. Bone meal. Let's make half a stack of it. So you can do this with I think the petals from the mod itself. Make this stuff called floral fertilizer. It's just bone meal. Okay, looks like it's just dyes now. Botania's changed a lot, so I may have some dirt moments. We'll do 11 for the time being. And you just use it like regular bone meal. All it does, though, is gives you Botania flowers. And there's one for each color. I don't know if this is gonna... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we got 13 of them. That's probably a good start. Now, we could put one of each over there in our Whirly Sprig farm, but probably if we were to look in whatever XEI this is, I'll bet there's mystical flower seeds. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. Now, the agglomeratio is 4 red, 4 pink, 4 cyan, and 4 orange. Not really there. So, we're going to make a couple more rounds of this stuff. Alright. Now, we haven't been making many new crops because we're saving up for a master infusion crystal, but for this, I'm going to make an exception. Let's see, we'll need ourselves an infusion crystal and just 4 Prudentium essence, and we'll take this. Oh, that's fine. I was gonna heal it up with the mending machine, but who cares? We don't have a recipe for prosperity seeds. That's how long it's been since we've made a crop. That's wild. All right, well, we'll make up a recipe for it and add it to our mess. How are we doing over here? 656? It's not bad. We did have a brownout over here last episode. So we'll have to be cognizant of that. Okay, seed on its own is not going to help me. Here we go. Prosperity seed base. 1 prosperity seed. Yeah, we'll just come right out here, huh? It's a pretty cheap crop, and as your Whirly Sprig has a limited area that they can function in, if you're going to go that route to make the flowers, which I recommend, especially in this pack with so much going on agriculturally, highly recommend that this is how you approach it with just 1 seed. And boy, I hate to take away any Inferium, but we'll be alright. I got a plan for that too. Now we're definitely gonna need some petals from some of these. I'm trying to think what I use the least, and it's probably magenta. The next thing on the menu is gonna be a petal apothecary. It's not too bad. It's just some cobblestone and a mystical petal of any color. And we're going to take it out. Well, we are going to take it out to our water source eventually. But first, we're going to need some white petals. And we're going to need a couple of seeds. Oh, we're doing it right. Quests are getting completed. That's always a good sign. So we're going to slap the petal apothecary down just right next to our crucible. And I will say, although the crucible has gotten much kinder and forgiving, it is still not as smooth as the petal apothecary. You just queue, they go right in there, you see it, throw in a seed, you got your stuff. And wow, that caused some lag. Oh boy. Alright, it wasn't too bad. It's nighttime now, though. Now, one cool thing with the petal apothecary is that it has water in it, and it's only been a little bit of time. That's broken. Okay. Away it goes. Now, we're going to put 2 of these down. Now, what these do, these are pure daisies. What these do is they transform, right? Now, you look up the uses in XEI here. You'll see a pure daisy tab. You can see all the different transmutations that it can do. What we're interested in is stone into living rock. Like, look at this. End stone into cobbled deep slate. Seriously, Lasky? End stone into cobbled deep slate. And we want wood into living wood. I believe most kinds of stone will work. So, while, for example, like cobbled this, cobble that will not work, granite just might. We're going to test it. Now, we got some completely random logs here. It should recognize anything with the relevant forge tag. And you can tell it's working when you see those white particle effects. Let's check the granite. How are we doing here? Do you like the granite? I don't think it likes the granite. I mean, we're not running a shortage of regular stone, but I thought it was worth a look. We'll get some regular stone. Now, I think it takes exactly 60 seconds. You can see we've already got living wood there. Barely been gone a moment. We're going to need a bunch of both of this, but I don't think so much that we're going to need to find ways to automate these processes. This pack is very much a sandbox, unlike Road to the Warrior 3, which is entirely my fault. But, what was I trying to say? Oh, who cares? This should start popping its way done in a minute. Well, less than a minute, it only takes a minute. Maybe we'll just stand here and watch the stone grow, right? Thrilling YouTube combat. Oh, I'm losing my words. Anyway, we got some living rock. We completed another quest. It's wonderful. We're gonna make some more, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing. Now the next thing we're gonna need is something called a mana spreader. We should have... Oh, it's copper now? Okay. Used to be gold. Okay, so we're really gonna have to be on the case, because it really does look like things have changed, perhaps more than I was prepared for. The logs like this will get you a twig. It is gotta be some twig. And we're gonna need a couple more petals. We'll do pink, I guess. You can do any color petal or combination of colors. They show up on the thing we just made, which is called the Wand of the Forest. We're also going to take some of our living rock and make ourselves a mana pool. And that should complete us a couple of quests. I promise I'll explain all this. I think the next thing we need... Okay, so we have 3 brown flowers. That's what we're dealing with. The next thing we want to make is something called a generating flora. And generating flower. And it's 2 brown, it's a red, and a light gray. Okay. We only have a couple of brown right now. That's alright. That's a good start. Oh, and we don't have any red at all, do we? We used it all. Well, I might have to make some more floral fertilizer. Now, generally speaking, the Petable Apothecary stuff, it all rhymes. You put your stuff in, you put your seed in, you get your item. Oops. And you can do it again. There will be... Oh, it worked that time. There will be stuff that doesn't use seeds in here from other mods. Notably, I think productive bees. Let's see here. Should have something called a pure bee. Yeah, there it is. Pure bee. And that will be made in here, but instead of a seed, it will be made with a vanilla bee spawn egg. But generally speaking... Oh, it didn't work that time, huh? Probably waited too long. I was babbling. Generally speaking, you'll be throwing seeds in there. It's not always clear from JAI or XAI, I guess I should say, whatever it is. So where are we gonna put this stuff? We're gonna need some room. I put it down here. So I went and built that up, flattened it out a little bit. We are going to want a block from the mod. This thing, the open crate, is what we want to do. We want to do a very basic mana automation setup. And I learned the basic idea for this trick ages ago. Watching Direwolf 20 mess around with Botania back in the 1.6 days. And I'm here to tell you, it still works. Although, my version is somewhat more compact. But the basic idea is you want your endo flames around here. We're going to put them right here. We're going to want more than this, but this will get us started. And then we're going to need a little bit of redstone dust. I forgot about that. But we're going to want a hopper up here. Now, many things from Botania interact with redstone. So if we're going to be messing around with any redstone near where we have our Botania stuff, we'll have to be a little bit careful. I'm specifically thinking of this thing right here, the mana spreader. If we were to put this next to the pressure plate and have the pressure plate activate, the mana spreader would stop doing its thing. It would be locked, just like this hopper would be if it got a redstone signal. Now, we are going to go, we'll use a little living rock. We're going to go ahead and put a mana pool up by 1 here, and the reasons for that will eventually become clear. And we're going to connect the mana spreader with the mana pool. We got our Wand of the Forest, it's in bind mode. Shift click, you can now see it's pointing at the mana pool. We are going to have to bind our flowers to the mana spreader because when we put them down, there was no mana spreader for them to default to. If we add more out here, which we will, they will by default connect to the mana spreader. Okay, so what? Now your Endoflame here is one of several, many several, we're going to try to take a look at them all, flowers from Botania that will generate mana. They take burnables, pretty much anything you can use for fuel, and Endoflame will consume and turn into mana. And we can see a little bit collecting in here. Not much, just a little bit. This little setup here, though, when there's something on the pressure plate, and we're not picking it up immediately with a magnet. Where's our magnet? I know we must have a magnet somewhere, right? Please tell me it's not the armor. I thought I was very careful with armor and magnets. It looks like I was. Very careful. We got some kind of a magnet on. I'm going to see if I can figure out what it is. Okay, it seems to be nothing. He's just going to come fly. I don't know why they all went flying into my inventory like that. That was very weird. I was not that close. So, all of these Endoflames right now are burning coal. And when they're done burning the coal they have, they're going to pick this coal up off of the pressure plate. When there's something on the pressure plate, it will power this repeater, which in turn will power this block. We can send a signal up to the hopper and lock the hopper. The hopper will unlock whenever one of the coal gets consumed by the Endoflame. So what we will have here is only one coal at a time down here, so they won't despawn, and we don't have to worry about manually feeding these things. Oh, hello. Origin grass block, that's weird. Oh, we could get a globe for... We have globes. Now, we are going to add some more Endoflames, but before I forget, I wanted to note that with like just the basic mana spreader, I've noticed you kind of top out at the number of Endoflames that you can reasonably run with just one of these setups. I want to say it's around 10. It's less if you're using stuff that burns quicker, and it's more if you're using stuff that burns longer, if that makes sense. Because I feel like there's one it always tries to go to first. It goes around to him like in order or something. And, if it's burning sticks, you'll really only have 2 going. And it'll always be the same 2, because like one will be ready by the time, the third one drops. So if you could understand that incoherence, keep that in mind. So let's put it to the test. We have, you can see the flame and the particle effects and all. We'll get it over here, and we'll get it over here. We'll definitely get it in 2 more, at least if memory serves. Yeah, okay. So let's go up to 10. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that one's out. Picks it up. It looks like 10 might be the sweet spot, because they're all going. Not for very long. Okay. Yeah, that'll do fine. Now, in addition to... Dude, what? In addition... Oh my gosh! You're gonna regret this, buddy. In addition to connecting things up to each other, this thing will also show you how much mana is in a mana pool, and how much mana is in a mana spreader. Now, here's part of the thing and why we don't want to add any more. Right now, the mana spreader's full. This is, maybe more load than it can handle. and we might be losing some. When we were able to upgrade the spreader, we'll improve on that. The next thing we're going to want to make is a runic altar. And it looks like I already have plenty of living rock on me to do it. We are going to need... Here we go. Actually, what's our ender pearl situation like? We're still kind of hurting for diamonds. We have a good amount of ender pearls. I think we're going to use ender pearls where we can. We need to make a runic altar. And I believe we can use either a mana pearl or a mana diamond. At least that's the way it used to be. Yeah, okay, we can use either one. So you throw an ender pearl in here, and by throw I mean Q. I assume if you just right click you'll smash into the mana pool. But if you Q it in there, you'll get a mana pool, or a mana pearl. And then we can craft it up into our runic altar. This is one of the crafting mechanics of the mod. It does need to be fed with mana. So we are actually going to want to make another nama spreader. Another mana spreader. That's a pulse mana spreader. That's not what we want. Okay, so we're going to need, let's see, any petal. And we're starting to get the mystical agriculture essence coming in. You get a good amount. You get 6 flowers for 3. As the name implies, what we're generally going to be crafting in the runic altar is runes. We're going to just slap a mana spreader right on the side here. We're going to connect it to the runic altar, because most of this stuff is going to need, crying out loud, is going to need mana. In fact, I think it all needs mana. Now, make the 4 basic runes. We're going to need a little bit of mana steel, and we found some, but we're going to make some. We also need a little bit of mana powder. And a plain mana pool, you can get this stuff from redstone, glowstone, gunpowder. All the 4 basic elemental runes will use a mana steel and a mana powder. We're going to start with the rune of water, which is a bone meal, a sugar cane, and a fishing rod. So we'll put those down. And what XEI doesn't tell you, but the Lexica Botanica would, is that when this thing is full of mana, and you can see the little progress, dial, I guess, you need to right-click with a living rock, and then right-click with your wand of the forest. When it's ready, you'll get, it'll tell you. And just right-click, and we'll get our runes. That's, the next 4 that we're going to make all rhyme with that. The exception for what we're going to make is not that one, this one. The Rune of Mana. This one is just mana steel and mana pearl, and then of course you got to do the living rock and the wand of the forest, just like every other rune. But the fire, the earth, the air, it's just stuff, mana steel, and mana powder. So I'm gonna go make all that. Okay, I'm just making the last of the elemental runes. I'm gonna go ahead and make that rune of mana, and I think you only get one of these when you do it, but we'll find out very soon. Alright. Yeah, just the one. That's okay. Next thing we want to work towards is Terrasteel. We will make this on something called the Terrasteel Agglomeration Plate. It's going to be 5 living rock and 4 lapis blocks in a checkerboard, with the plate on top of the central living rock. We're going to craft this with the runes we just made, and a block of mana steel and a bunch more lapis. Okay, we're going to need 7 blocks of lapis total. There we go. We can make our plate. I made 1 too many blocks of lapis. Now, we're not going to be able to transfer mana to the plate with mana spreaders. We're going to need some spracks, by which I mean some sparks. So all we're gonna need is really any kind of petal. Let's see what we got a good amount of. We got plenty of light gray. Okay, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. I don't want to make 3 of these. These are also a mana transfer thing. They don't work with everything. They do work with some things. We're also... Oh, we can't do that quite yet. Okay. I want to do that in a minute. But for now, we're going to take another something out there. We'll do a diamond this time so we can get the mana diamond quest. And we're going to end up making something called, there it is. Something called a mana tablet to move mana around manually. And that'll be fine. So I feel like we'll probably put the gateway over here. So maybe not too far away from it. We're gonna put these 2 mana pools down. Like so. And like so. Don't need 2 mana pools for this. I'm preparing for something else. You do need a full mana pool's worth of mana, however, to make Terrasteel. So keep that in mind. And we'll make the little multi-block here. And we'll put the plate on top of it, and as soon as we got the mana, we'll be ready to go. Now we will need a spark here. And we're going to need a spark here. And I'm going to put a spark over here, too, for the time being. Now, the mana tablet is easy. We just need a mana diamond and some living rock. And we ought to put a crafting table out here. Definitely going to use it. So if mana is the energy of the mod, then these are the battery of the mod. You see that thing on the bottom. That means any mana tablet you have is going to feed into the mana pool. You shift right click, the arrow reverses direction. We can put mana in here. We're not going to do it right now because this will be fine for what we're about to do. It will, however, become important pretty soon. In the process of doing all that, we have completed a good number of quests, so we might as well cash in. Let's see what all we have here. We got a mystical white petal. We got some loot bundle fragments. Do we finally have enough for another bundle? Yes, we do. We got an extra mana spreader. Got another endo flame, which I'm going to throw out there just for laughs. A mana pool that we don't need right now. A little floral fertilizer. Another pure daisy. Runes, seeds. Let's see. Well, let's first see. These are usually the boring ones, right? Yeah, just some, stuff. Throw the ironwood back in there. I'm not averse to stuff. Part of the win condition of Minecraft is whoever can hoard the most stuff. You all know that. You don't need me to tell you that. Let's see what's in our loot bundles. Okay, we got an artifact. That's cool. An induction. Oh, we have immersive in the pack. Oh, we got another mana tablet. That's delightful. More mining gadget stuff. A red stringed dispenser. I don't know what this does, but I know the red string is a pain in the neck to deal with. Let's go ahead and make a book. And to deal with, I mean to craft. It's got a lot of steps. Let's see. Okay, we haven't even unlocked red string. Makes sense. I'm gonna put this right here so I don't forget about it. Now I made another rune of mana because I want to make this band of aura. What this will do, I think in our inventory, well, maybe we have to wear it. Let's see. Those are bracelets. We got another ring slot. We'll probably have to take some of these out. 20 max health. Oh, that's hard to say no to. So what this will do, and you can see us every so often, like this thing, the mana tablet in our hand will go like it's mending. That's basically what's happening. These are going to start getting a charge of mana in them. And I don't think we have to be holding on to them. Yeah, that one's gotten a charge now. Just sitting in the inventory. So it's a trickle. It's, better than no free mana. And we'll be able to upgrade it to make it about 4 times as effective soon. Now, since we have this 11th Endoflame, we might as well put it down. It's already picked something up. But we can't really feed this thing mana any faster than we already are. And you might notice this Endoflame here, it doesn't seem to be picking up coal. I mean, if it did, there would be no place for the mana to go. It's just, okay, so now we know, I think, with a basic mana spreader like this, 10's the limit. Actually, might be 9. Like, this one isn't going either now that I sit here and watch. Like, look, it's just not, they're not even picking it up. I bet, though, when we increase this to an Elven mana spreader, we would have all of these lit. We'll find out soon. Okay, I always think Terrasteel is a full mana pool, and I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's half a mana pool. So you take a Mana Steel, Mana Diamond, and Mana Pearl. You drop them on there, and you can pick them up and waste the mana, so, magnets off, folks. But we can see mana traveling from one spark to the other. We could also see this mana pool draining precipitously. And we'll get this nice little light show. And then we'll get our first piece of Terrasteel. So now that we have some Terrasteel, the next thing to do is going to be to build the gateway to Alfheim. That's another crafting mechanic. It's exchanging stuff and mana for stuff. But I would like to have 2 full mana pools ready to go before we do that. So I'm going to work on getting the mana built up between episodes, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.